Yeah, the team vibe is very different than last time when we were here. Look, for the last 2 years since I've been back, the vibe's been awesome. I've been loving it. There's a lot of onus and respect and accountability put on the players, and I think the players, being the professionals we are, we really leave no stone unturned as individuals. So, I mean, every time we go out there to play cricket, we're ready. So we'll be ready again. No, it's been a great Ashes. It's all 3 games have been so close. We've got a chance to win the Ashes again this game, and the guys are really excited by that. I think both teams. I think England's really excited by it too. They came off and won last game. I've had so many people text me from back home telling me how good this series has been, and comparing 2005, saying it might even be better than 2005 at this stage, and it's just great to hear. It's great to hear. There's a lot of entertainment, a lot of people enjoying the cricket, and that's what you want at the end of the day. That first ball was pretty fiery. Yeah, he looked like he had his beans going a little bit. No, I was at the other end for most of it. Marnus faced a fair bit, but it wasn't that. He was swinging it too. That's what made it a little bit more difficult. When you're bowling at that pace and just swinging it, that's what makes it difficult, and he was doing it beautifully. So, yeah, that first ball was pretty good. He bowled pretty well that first innings, and no, he done well in that first innings. No, it swung. If that ball didn't swing, I would have hit it. And it just swung late at 90 odd miles. If you're off by a little bit, sometimes it gets you. It got me. No, not necessarily. I mean, they're all dangerous, just like our bowlers. You give our bowlers these conditions, they're very dangerous too. So it's just the luck of the draw sometimes, what kind of weather you get. You love to bat at sunshine all the time in England, but you don't always get that. So I think both sides, whenever there's overcast conditions like this, they're kind of licking their lips a little bit. So it's just what it is. So I'm just going preparing the game, and look, with full respect, the media will write what sells newspapers, and I understand that. I've got nothing against it. I respect that. I understand that. He's probably the hot topic right now. I don't know, because I don't really, as I said, I don't really read the stuff, and that for that reason. It's at the end of the day, you got to do your job, we got to do our job. If I will say anything, I still, from my point of view, Dave Warner's been one of the greatest openers of all time. It's him and Haydos right up there for Australia, I reckon. That's top 2 ever. So I'll always back Davey no matter what. I think a lot of the other guys would too. Yeah, it's massive. It's a thankless job. Like, we go out there at the start, and we had a really good start at Lords on really overcast conditions. I got out just last over before lunch, but it sets up the game for the rest of the other team. Steve first comes out in the sunshine, he gets a bad sun, he plays a beautiful 100. I think as an opener, sometimes you don't always just, record your good days on how many runs you play. It also sometimes just about grinding through those tough times, which we did in that test match. And I think we've had a 3 50-run partnerships, and against Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad, I mean, that's as tough as it gets in England. So, yeah, you've got to pay some sort of respect to that. No, I mean, he's just getting starts and getting out. It sucks. It doesn't always happen. He's normally a very good converter, but I have no doubt that at some level it'll click, at some stage it'll click. I expect him to get big runs the next couple of games. He's too good not to if he keeps getting starts the way he is. So, it's just business as usual. Marnus is pretty good. He's pretty level-headed. I mean, just the way it is. It's one of those wickets that we played on throughout the whole time. I don't think any batsman's felt in at any stage, and that's England and Duke balls and weather and conditions. When Australia, sometimes you can kind of lock in and feel like, all right, I've got the tempo right now, I feel pretty good, I think I can stretch this for a while. Where, yeah, here it doesn't feel like that, because the ball's always just doing enough, just nibbling about. So, I mean, you see that pace has dominated. Pace has dominated this whole fixture from the first 3 games. Been behind the over rates a little bit. ICC have been stinging us a fair bit. Thankfully, they've come around and changed some of those fines, which was killing me. But no, it was good actually. On that, I appreciate the ICC actually. They actually listen to players on another topic. That Wasim Khan there at ICC talked to us about a lot of the stuff and got feedback from the players. And it's the first time I've ever had that kind of communication with the ICC. So on that topic, that was really good. What happened? I think no one's really mentioned that. I thought I'd get out there and mention it because it's pretty cool. But yeah, at the same time, a lot of fast bowling's been bowled. To your question. And yeah, it's just what it is. I mean, I'd love to win the Ashes. Something that all of us would love to do. But I think I'm so process focused now. It doesn't really bother me anymore. I go about my process, my focus, what I can do for the team. I feel like if I do that well enough and consistently enough, and the other guys do that too, we can be the better team and win this Ashes. If we do that, that's when I'll sit back and celebrate and really enjoy it. Right now, I'm not really thinking about it. But yeah, obviously coming back competitively, last time, tough times. That was a tough point in my career. I thought my career was pretty much over there. My wife was joking about it too. She was sitting up at Leeds, there's a little shopping mall, and she was sitting up the top there. She was like, yeah, last time I was here, it wasn't good times. I was like, no, it wasn't, honey. So she was a part of it too, and it's just nice. It's funny how things work out. I get to come back to England and actually play at Old Trafford this time. Touch wood, I think, I don't trip over myself. It's a very different vibe. Team's a very different place. I'm really just enjoying this year. Look, yeah, they're rough. If you talk about it to England guys, they say we're equally as rough when they come there, and I don't agree with it either way. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't think it's... I personally, if I'm playing the cricket and I'm watching cricket, I wouldn't want my kids to be around that. And if I saw that, I'd 100% make a complaint or just leave. I think some of the stuff can be pretty poor. I mean, when we were at Edgbaston, they were calling Travis Head a CU, you know what? I'm like, I can't believe that you can actually say that in a public domain, anywhere. So it can be a little bit disappointing at times, and I think it's the same way in Australia. I think we can take it too far in Australia. Same thing happens in Australia. I'm not a big fan of that. I personally know, watching a lot of sport, loving sports, that it happens around the world. Watch the NBA, it happens there, particularly when crowds can get real close to you, which they can in cricket. So yeah, it is what it is, but I necessarily don't agree with it. But doing it my whole life doesn't really bother me. And if it does, I'll let them know. You face it all the time. I mean, Norkia was bowling us 95, 96 mile an hour spells back in Australia. Mark Wood was bowling again. When I came back at the SCG, he scored 200s. Mark Wood was playing that game too. He's always at you bowling well. Like, I love him. Just like, he's a good competitor. He's a funny guy, and he just runs in and gives everything for the team. I mean, he's great for the game. So, no, I mean, you're playing your whole life. You're used to play fast bowling. You play fast bowling your whole career. If you can't handle fast bowling, you're not going to make it in Test cricket. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was in Lancashire 2014 and got to know Jimmy a little bit. He was a very quiet, reserved guy. I wasn't really quite sure how to take him, and then somehow I was addicted to Call of Duty on PlayStation at the time, and so was he. And that's how he sort of broke the ice. He came in my room and started playing Call of Duty. He was crap at it. But it broke the ice, and then I started getting along with him pretty well after that. So now I've got a lot of time for Jimmy. He's been an outstanding cricketer for such a long time. He's got an own end named after him, so he must be doing something right. Yeah, I think there's always room for Jimmy Anderson in Test cricket. I'm not sure. How many wickets did he take second innings? Genuine question. I don't know. 2. So I think you've negated him a little bit second innings there. He wasn't, the demolisher. I think Moeen Ali bowled a really good spell. If you're looking at that game, I think he's probably forgotten a little bit because he got Marnus, then he got Steve Smith. Potentially, our 2 best batsmen of the last few years. So I think that's what broke our back, really, that game, that innings and that run chase. Yeah, there was a team effort there, so it's just not Woody. If you worry about one bowler from my past, you worry about one bowler, the other bowler will get you out. So, yeah, you got to worry about all of them. No, I've known Wasim Khan. I think he was part of, obviously, Pakistan, and I played in PSL, so I got to know him. Obviously, English background. He's from here, and just kept in touch. And then, obviously, he's now, I think, GM at the ICC. I was pretty frustrated with what was happening. I'm an ACA board member, so I do look at what's around cricket and what's happening, and I just thought someone's got to find a way to speak to the ICC about it, because we had played 3 games and there'd been 3 really good games with results, entertainment. I mean, the World Test Championship was the highest watched Test match I think ever, or something like that. It was just really good stuff, and we were getting fined 80% of our match fee. It's a lot of money, and it just frustrated. 80% for the first test. And then for the second test, I think, actually it might have been the second test, and then for the first test, one of them was 40, one of them was 80. It's just really frustrating as a player, because you're giving it all, you're out there, you're providing entertainment, and then you're getting stung for it. So I just felt like I needed to speak, and Wasim was really good. I got him a text, and he was really good. I texted him, I called him, we talked, he took the feedback back, he took it back. I think Paddy talked to him too, and Andrew McDonald talked to him, and to his credit, it wasn't just listening and no actions, and actions happened pretty much within 1 or 2 weeks, and they came back with us. There was a bit of compromise, something the players were happy with, because we're trying to go as fast as we can. It's the conditions that make it hard for us. If we were in India, we're never behind the over rate. We've got 2 spinners going at it. Conditions in the game is what was played here, but we were getting results. That's what was frustrating. I think England were frustrated with it too. So to have Wasim Khan there actually listen to the players and get a bit of feedback and then find a compromise sort of position, yeah, it's the first time that I've been involved with cricket that something like that's happened to ICC, and I think it's a really good step forward, particularly having player feedback and doing that. So credit goes to Wasim Khan for that. Oh well, now I think that's coming down. I think they released it. It's coming in at 5% now per over. I was pushing for 2.5.
It's
5% for over, and then it's
capped
capped
at
at 50, and then it goes to 80 overs instead of 60 overs, what it was before. It hasn't happened yet. I'm still pushing for, personally as a player, if you get a result in the game, up to tee, you get a result before tee last day, there shouldn't be any fines. You got what you wanted. It's only after that I feel like maybe, all right, now you got the chance to hurry up the game along. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's cricket. You have rules and laws there that have been there for a very long time. Sometimes you just got to look back on them and see if you need to update them a little bit. I've got to be honest, it's too hard when you're playing. If you start giving yourself a pat on the back and start feeling happy for yourself, it's probably where you're going to get stung. You just can't do it while you play. You've got to look at the next test match. Once test match finishes, you've got to look at the next test match. You can't be like, oh, how good did I play last test match? Because last test match doesn't matter. You're probably going in there with a little bit more confidence, no doubt, but yeah, as I said, it's so process driven. That's one of the things. I think it won't be until maybe after my career where I'll look back and be like, okay, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I don't think you can afford I don't think any player out there can afford themselves, the ability to go out and try and actually do that. You just got to focus on the next game, which kind of sucks. But, I know what has worked for me in the past, so I just have to stick with it. I think Stewie Broad's a good bowler to both left and right hand.
Yeah.
It's like he's got money out a few times too. I think I've said it before, I love the way Brody plays. Always plays with a smile on his face. He creates a bit of theatre. I think he plays the game in really good spirit. I've always enjoyed battling against Brody, and he's one of those guys that, Jimmy Anderson's an unbelievable bowler. It's consistency. He's done it for a long time, but something about Brody, sometimes you can just change your game here and there. You just can get wickets in clumps, and that's what you got to be wary. When Brody gets his tail up, he might have 2 or 3 overs, 4 overs. It can be really tough for him. You just have to be really on. Because you cannot. That's where you can just get on a roll. So I think he's just a good bowler. Yeah, he loves doing that, doesn't he? A little arm wave. It is what it is. The crowd loves it, so why not?